Hello, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's launch of the Being Leadership Academy. I'm so excited that you can join us today and spend a little bit of time with us getting to know the Being Leadership Academy, what we're all about, and of course the wonderful courses that we'll be delivering. Before I do commence, can I just introduce you to Jeanette Curtin? Jeanette's our manager for the Being Leadership Academy. Hi, Jeanette.
Hello, Irene.
And Jeanette and I are going to walk through this morning and walk through a couple of the outlines of the program and, as I mentioned, what it's all about. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land that we all meet and that you're all joining us from. Pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. And of course, any of our Indigenous brothers and sisters who are joining us for this particular event today, thank you for joining us. And of course, the work that we do at Being is informed by people who live with mental health issues. So I would like to acknowledge people living with mental health issues and also acknowledge the courage, the strength that we face every single day and really think about the people that we've lost along the way as well. We know our rates of suicide are very high and we would like to acknowledge those that have touched our hearts as well. So welcome. We are in studios here, Redback Studios, which are in Sydney and social distancing appropriately as well. Originally, when we thought about the launch of the Being Leadership Academy and considering that we are a New South Wales-based organisation, we thought rather than actually doing something as a face-to-face event, that we would do something via webinar. And this means that people across New South Wales are able to join us no matter where you're coming from. We have had some people who have registered from other states. So whilst this program is quite specifically for people in New South Wales, I do want to welcome those who are coming from other states as well. And thank you for joining us. A little bit of an outline of today and the webinar. You've just seen a very short video about the processes and hopefully you've had an opportunity to familiarise yourself with the process of the webinar today. But we will be taking questions, so please feel free. You've got an opportunity to ask any questions that you may like. At the end of, or in the latter part of the webinar, we're also looking at frequently asked questions. So we will be covering frequently asked questions, but also in the latter part, looking at answering and responding to some of your questions as well. So please feel free to connect with us in this way. We're hoping that it's just not Jeanette and I talking here, that we really can have our audience involved and we welcome you in such a way. This particular recording will be available just in the event that you are only able to join us for a short period of time, or if you'd like to recommend that you have colleagues or friends or family that would like to see this particular recording. It will be available shortly, so please keep your eye out on our Mad Monday memo, which is our online newsletter, but also on our website as well, as we'll be uploading there into our social media. It's a really good time for us to really take a little bit more of a deep dive into what the Leadership Academy is all about. And as I said, Jeanette and I are so excited to talk to you about this today. It's a significant program for our organisation and it's certainly one that we wholeheartedly believe in. But before we commence, can we just flick to our video, which is the Honourable Gareth Ward, and Minister Ward is the Minister for Families and Communities and Disability Services. So we'll hear from Minister Ward now.
G'day, it's Gareth Ward here, the Minister for Families, Communities and Disability Services. I'm sorry I can't be with you at the launch of Being Leadership, but I'm really excited about this program. Not only is it being supported through funding through the National Disability Insurance Scheme, which is changing lives, it's giving people with disabilities the opportunity to step up, to realise their potential. And I'm always excited about programs that give people with disabilities the opportunity to do exactly that.
Thank you, Minister Ward, for your kind words and also your support. Minister Ward would have loved to have been here today. Unfortunately, he had a previous engagement, but we do thank him for his recording as well. So let's launch into our discussions and talk about why we established the Being Leadership Academy. Let's flick across to that. apologies, just looking at our, neither Jeanette or I are technologically minded. So we'll declare that up front. If we do have any issues, it's all our fault.
User error.
Probably my fault, user error.
User error.
So why have we established the Being Leadership Academy? Well, initially the idea actually came about through conversations with our members. Now, we're a member-based organisation, as many of you know, and our members were really articulating that they wanted a space or opportunities to learn in ways that they could start to understand about mental health issues, but even broader about recovery and recovery journeys, listening to stories of other people, hearing about opportunities to learn and grow. And particularly, we know that there's certainly an interest in the peer workforce, which is the lived experience workforce. And people were saying to us, are there any courses around that are an introduction to peer work that people may be able to do as part of a career trajectory or an entry point into peer work? So it really started this conceptual idea. And of course, we're an organisation that consults with many people across the state. We run consultations and focus groups, but importantly, we co-design processes as well. So for us at Being, we really heard from our members and our consumer community that this was something that was greatly needed across the sector. So we submitted a funding application under ILC Funding Grants, and the ILC Funding Grants quite specifically for the National Disability Insurance Scheme, or NDIS, as many of you will know. So whilst this particular program is funded under the NDIS and Department of Social Services, it's not just specifically available only for people who have NDIS packages. It is available, and the courses will be available for people across New South Wales. And we'll talk a little bit about the courses a bit later. But we listened to the advocacy, and we relayed that advocacy through to funding bodies. And that's a key component of what we do at Being, is to really look at opportunities to provide systemic advocacy to meet the needs of individuals. Just very quickly, for those of you that aren't familiar with Being, we are the New South Wales independent state peak organisation that speak for and with people who live with mental health issues. We're a fully run consumer organisation, meaning that all of our staff and all of our board members identify as living with mental health issues. And in some way, that positions us in a very unique situation, that we've been there, we get it, and we understand. Now, we do appreciate that we all have a diversity of pathways, but that lovely mutuality and reciprocity that we often talk about in peer work is definitely seen through our organisation. So we want to really charge through and make sure that we're leading and influencing on key topics that people feel are important for them, particularly at a systemic level, and to ensure that the human rights and social justice principles are implemented in everything that we do. So that's a little bit about our organisation and a little bit of why we funded the Being Leadership Academy. So, what makes the Being Leadership Academy unique? Let's take a look at that. Jeanette, I'm going to draw you in here. And thanks for joining me and for being my mate this morning in this journey.
Thank you for the invitation.
We transition through. It's really important to have you here because you're so incredibly hands-on with the project, and I think that's really important to kind of have your voice shining through and particularly providing the updates of where we're up to at the moment now.
Thank you.
So let's have a look at some of the key points. So tell us a little bit about what makes the Being Leadership Academy so unique.
Thanks, Irene, for that lovely invitation to speak. So I'm really excited that the launch is finally happening. There's been lots and lots of back-end processes and work that's gone into this. So the Leadership Academy is a new program, as you've said, run by the Being Mental Health Consumers. It aims to bring consumer-led education and training into the mainstream mental health space. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that the Academy is going to offer quite a broad, diverse range of short courses and workshops. Some courses aren't so short; they'll go for a little longer, but I'll come back to that at a later stage to talk about. I think one of our most important aspects of the Academy is that it is consumer-led. And it is for consumers. So we take into account transformative education. And for that, it's education and learning in a safe space and safe environment. It's about welcoming diversity, collaboration, sharing the learning experience. So unlike other learning academies or colleges out there or RTOs, then it's a very different space. So yes, we'll give some information, which is always important for learners to gather, but it's about the learner then sharing their ideas and their knowledge, and it's about learning from each other. So we as facilitators or teachers may be imparting information, but we're also gaining that information from learners. So it's a real shared experience. It's about learners being able to take in that information and evaluate it almost at the same time. So again, having open, clear discussions, sharing ideas, sharing strategies for learning, because as we know, we all learn differently. So it's a matter of that real shared experience.
It fits so much into recovery-oriented principles, doesn't it?
It does,
And you talk about diversity and embracing diversity as well. I do want to acknowledge that we are using some language and terminology today, and quite specifically, we're using terminology such as consumer. I do want to acknowledge that for many people, they don't relate to that term consumer. We're using it in the context today to differentiate that we are developing courses quite specifically for people who live with mental health issues themselves personally, but also for family and carers as well. But we do tend to draw on that terminology of consumer just to differentiate that we are talking about people who are living with mental health issues, consumers. So please excuse us if we are using that sort of terminology today. But I do want to go back to really is embracing, when I think about recovery-oriented principles, about choice and control and hope and what that journey might look like. I guess, in the peer workforce, we talk a lot about mutuality and reciprocity and that lovely dance and flow that takes place between peer workers and people that they connect with. And I anticipate that's the same sort of approach in peer education as well, that we have people who live with mental health issues who, it's not a hierarchical type aspect. It's
Absolutely
very much an
not.
equal.
It's an equal pathway, so it's learning from each other.
Yeah.
It's very self-motivating, self-affirming, self-governing. It's an opportunity to share the knowledge as human beings that we've gathered along our journey in life. And to be able to share that along with the way we learn. And being able to gather extra information to empower ourselves. And again, along that road for recovery and empowerment, and to create better pathways for career advancement, perhaps, or to create a new career.
Yeah. And I guess that focus as a consumer-run organisation, that everything we do is consumer-led.
Yes.
Consumer, it's produced, so we've got co-production methodology as well that takes place, and co-design methodology that takes place in everything we do as well. So it really is putting consumers as leaders in that space, and that's something that I absolutely love in this particular project as well.
And again, that's very recovery focused in the sense that learners will be in the driver's seat, as opposed to the traditional classroom-based where learners aren't in the driver's seat at all. There's someone else that's driving and you've then got to follow. So this is a different tactic, and I'm sure there's some other organisations out there doing that as well, but we're unique in the sense that it is consumer-led, and that very much that transformative education or learning space to allow that self-empowerment and that self-governance.
And when you talk about transformative education, just can you elaborate a little bit more around transformative education? Because I'm aware that some of our audience might not quite have an understanding around that?
It's creating a safe environment. It's allowing each person within that space, that learning space or the room, or whether it be online, like in a virtual classroom on Zoom or face-to-face, it's allowing everyone a voice. It's allowing everyone's to be an individual and to empower themselves with the best way that they learn, to reach out to others in the room, to gather information, to evaluate that information for themselves. So it's that journey of walking together as opposed to that didactic stance of a teacher and learners or students often called in the classroom. So I've gone away from the teacher and the student and prefer to use the word learners because we're all on a learning journey. Life is a lifelong learning journey. And to have facilitators or educators at the realm to walk hand in hand with each other. Because again, transformative stuff is very much about what I can learn from you and you can learn from me. So it's really that shared space, which I think in a classroom situation is extremely empowering.
It's really powerful, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. Because you feel as though you aren't the second person, you feel as though you are the first person along with everyone else in that room. You feel that your knowledge and skills and opinions matter and that you have that space and that safety to voice those, and to gather up other ideas and to learn more. And for me, that's an exciting space to be in, to always learn more.
That's awesome. And thanks for taking us through that journey with transformative education. I think it's really important. This is an incredibly key component to the differentiation between traditional style learning. So, thanks for taking us through that. So that's what makes us a little bit unique. And I think now it'd be really important for us to talk about I suppose the program as a whole, and thinking about the different components of the program. So we've got three components, although we've added a fourth one along the way. But our three components are Speak Up, Peer Up, Lead Up. So they're almost three streams that we have. And perhaps that's something that we could explore a little bit more. So tell us a little bit more about sort of the first stream, Speak Up.
I will, but I just wanted to add in there and acknowledge our international partnership with the Nottingham Recovery College in the UK. I spent many nights last year doing some workshops and also co-designing and co-producing some courses that we'll be able to use. So that was a very exciting journey for me and a very privileged journey. And so I just, unfortunately, the Nottingham College was not able to participate in today, but we are certainly in partnership with them and I look forward to working in the future with them as well.
Yeah, the lockdown situations in the UK have certainly made it a little bit difficult for them to participate. But as one of the founders of recovery colleges in the UK, it's been really important that we've connected with them and partnered with them. So it's a wonderful opportunity to do so.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about just to go back to the Speak Up of the first stream, which is the Speak Up program. So tell us a little bit more about the Speak Up program.
Indeed. So the Speak Up stream is a set of courses and workshops that are very much introductory and they're for people with mental health issues. And the idea behind that is to have access to purposeful and safe education. So purposeful in the sense that it has the potential to lead that person somewhere, whether it be for self-growth and self-recovery, or whether it be to open up pathways to forge ahead with a career or a hobby or a or an interest that they may have, to ignite some curiosity, to want to learn more and go further and possibly and potentially open up some employment pathways for people. Some of the courses and workshops for people, it will also be to have a choice to be directly involved in their learning journey because a lot of them will be introductory level type courses. And as I said led to include career future pathways for people. Yeah.
So the Speak Up program's really bringing sort of education into sort of the mental health sector, but for the broader community?
Yes, yeah. So as our courses are open to consumers, family and carers, and so that again, and for the whole of New South Wales. So we're not limited by boundaries or geographical areas. Yeah. So which is very exciting in the sense that we can reach out to rural and remote and regional areas, which are often left behind. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I guess as an organisation that is based in Sydney, it's definitely something that we're also always considering. How do we outreach into rural and remote areas? And certainly, for us at Being, we've had wonderful opportunities through Zoom, but we would like to actually look at potentially doing a road trip around New South Wales where we can first of all, deliver some of these courses, but also have the opportunity to connect with the community. So stay tuned also for an update about our road trip. I'd certainly be looking forward to a road trip.
And a new bus.
Mini bus. Maybe
a bus.
A mini bus or something
Indeed.
like that, the Being bus.
Yeah, the Being bus.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Speak Up program is for the broader community.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got some frequently asked questions that we'll answer a little bit later. But maybe we could touch on that at the moment. So the Speak Up program or the Speak Up stream being available for broader community, you mentioned for consumers, so people who live with mental health issues.
Yes.
Family carers as well. What about if we have organisations that may want some specific training for their organisations?
Most definitely.
Any opportunity for them to speak to Being about courses that we may be able to develop for them?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, always open for suggestions and to work collaboratively with other organisations. Yeah, that's excellent. I think the more that people are willing to educate perhaps staff or other volunteers within organisations, that's a bonus and a positive step for the whole of humanity.
Yeah. This is certainly something I'm incredibly passionate about because, I think about my early days of starting in the mental health sector was actually with a very, very short course and attending a support group and having that opportunity to really connect with people who lived with mental health issues. And that particular time, I thought I was the only person on this earth that had mental health issues. And so connecting with other people and being able to learn and grow with them was a key part of my recovery journey and I guess led to the trajectory of where I am today, personally, but also professionally as well. So there's something so incredibly important around education, but then also coupling it up with connecting with people who live with mental health issues.
Definitely. I think it bridges that gap between loneliness and feeling connected.
Yeah, absolutely. So stream number 2 is the Peer Up program. Tell us a little bit about the Peer Up program. This one's really exciting.
Yeah, Peer Up is an exciting program because it's a stream that will focus on broad and practical range of mental health peer work courses and workshops and also some professional development skill sets, which I find really exciting to be able to head dive into because we want to build capacity, we want to create open pathways for the peer workforce to forge ahead and to gain extra skills and knowledge and pass that knowledge on to others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose, in thinking about some of the courses that we'll be delivering, we have connected with the peer workforce and, I want to touch on a survey and some work that was undertaken back in 2019 and in 2020 where we've run a survey that was specifically for peer workers, but then also a separate one for managers of peer workers, which informed some of the courses that may be required, what people are actually looking for. But then we also had face-to-face consultations specifically with peer workers and heard what they had to say too. We're also well connected with the public mental health consumer workforce, and we run and host the annual forum. And so through evaluation and feedback and workshops, we've had lots of opportunities once again to hear what their needs are. And I know one of their needs is actually around peer supervision. So if we do have any peer workers that are out there at the moment, peer supervision is definitely something we're onto. We have been funded through some additional funding to develop a program, and we're currently in the process of recruiting in 10 trainee peer supervisors to cover the state across New South Wales. But the Leadership Academy will actually be providing the training, which is really exciting. So this is where we're talking about not just professional development, but actually looking at innovative approaches to be able to support the peer workforce.
Indeed, and create new career pathways.
Yeah, well,
and supportive pathways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed, especially with the peer supervision.
Yeah, we are opening up a whole new pathway there, aren't we?
We are,
Because we know that there may be peer supervisors across New South Wales and even broader, but it's quite ad hoc at the moment, and there's nothing that sits professionally with professional training in New South Wales at this stage. So we're certainly really excited to be opening up that pathway.
Indeed, and increasing that pathway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what sort of courses do you think people could expect in the Peer Up program, apart from the introduction to peer supervision?
Well, I'll talk a bit more about the different types of courses, but there will be an introduction, well, there is a introduction to peer work, and I'll talk a little bit more about what is actually in that course later. But certainly some professional skill sets, and that could be around appropriate sharing of your story. In the potentially other areas could be looking at developing areas around accidental counselling, difficult conversations, really understanding the Mental Health Act and the mental health space as it stands today, and the ever-changing legislation that goes with it. Yeah. So there's other areas, but watch this space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's keeping quiet.
I'm keeping secret. Yeah.
She's keeping quiet at the moment. Now we'll get it out of her soon. That's okay. And I guess I do want to acknowledge here that we're absolutely aware that there is a cert for. Or certificate for, I should say, don't abbreviate.
No.
Certificate for in mental health peer work, and the wonderful folks at the Mental Health Coordinating Council run that and do have some scholarships, and we're aware that also the qualification is being run through a number of TAFEs as well. So if that is a pathway that people are looking into, please do reach out to those organisations. And I would really see that the peer upstream is complementary to that qualification, isn't it? So it's not certainly not to replace the qualification, but more complementary to it. Would that be correct?
Definitely, yeah. And I look forward to soon to be able to do some consults with the peer workforce to see what they need and what they would like.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, and the third stream is the Lead Up program. Tell us a little bit about the Lead Up program.
So the Lead Up program is a little bit in the future, but the Lead Up program, certainly this stream provides any kind of participants with intensive education programs. So I'm looking at focusing heavily on employment and leadership skills. And the leadership skills is to strengthen our current consumer leaders, but to also develop future new leaders and to have... in order to have an influence on change. Yeah, so to build a bigger picture. So this could be to be a part of a committee, to be a part of a board of directors, to learn how to publicly speak and to feel confident in that space, to reach up and be coordinators and managers of programs.
How wonderful. I often say it'd be lovely to have, some of the sort of the higher end committees that I attend, certainly, it'd be lovely to have some of our current and future leaders that are sitting next to me, and collectively we're providing a much stronger advocacy voice. It'd be lovely to have that. So
yeah, and possibly traineeships, ambassador programs.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. And so we've also added on, just in recent times, I guess, another stream. Tell us about the fourth stream,
So
what it's called.
Fourth stream is called Staff Up.
Yes, staff.
Staff, yes,
Staff.
indeed.
Yeah, we've got to be careful with our wording, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So this stream is actually for internal education. So it's all very well to say that we want to be able to provide education to the outside world, but as a good organisation, and we should be providing education internally as well to our own staff. So this is providing staff professional development opportunities for us and all the employees of being mental health consumers. So some of the programs that we've already delivered is the Suicide Support and Awareness program, and that was for the facilitators of support groups that are currently running now, and that was a 7-day program and proved to be extremely successful, and it was a privilege to run. There was some staff planning workshops just recently held, and that was over 2 days, and that was certainly an exciting opportunity to lead those workshops, and I've got some wonderful positive feedback about the sharing and collegiality that happened during those workshops and the knowledge building about the organisation for some of our new staff members. And also, of course, the employment induction courses that we have. So initially when a new employee comes along, there's a series of courses that I'll invite them to join.
That's great. And just to touch on the, just for those that are joining us, just to touch on the suicide support program, which is a separate program altogether.
Yes.
But acknowledging that that in that space, then people who have come in as peer facilitators at this stage aren't employees of the organisation, but are actually contracted to do some work for us. So I guess Staff Up isn't just purely for employees, that it could be for some of our contractors
external
as well.
contractors, yes, indeed.
Which is very exciting too.
Yeah, it is.
So and whilst that's a new stream and we've just identified it with a new name, I like the name, Staff Up.
Yeah.
It's certainly something that the Leadership Academy have been providing for some time now. So that's really exciting. Let's take a little look at some of the course information.
Sure.
So let's have a look at what some of the courses are and what people will learn. So maybe we could walk through that together. So I'm aware that we're starting off March, the week of March the 15th.
We are, yes.
And whilst we have co-designed, co-developed, co-produced, how many courses now in total?
Last count, 15.
15, okay. That's incredible, but we can't just launch with 15 straight off. We probably want to make sure that we're starting off with a small number.
Gently, yes.
Some feedback from those that are the learners that you mentioned who are participating.
Yes.
See what they think about the courses, make any modifications or changes. So really hear and listen. And so to some degree there's a little bit of co-design there as well. Yeah,
I think so, because gathering feedback from evaluations and discussions and taking those on board and reviewing courses is a necessity. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's start off with, 3 courses we're starting off with. And the first one I noticed here is the introduction to Zoom as a learning platform. I was really interested in this one because I haven't come across other than going on a Zoom tutorial that I was totally confused with.
Lost by.
Completely lost with it. I did mention I'm not a techno person. But tell us a little bit more about that course.
So, yes, this was a light bulb moment I had one night about because of COVID and the restrictions and the limited ability to conduct face-to-face learning, then I thought that, all right, all of our courses initially will be online. And so initially our learning platform will be Zoom. So we can never, ever assume or make assumptions of people's abilities with technology or feeling safe and comfortable about using it as well. So I thought about a very easy introductory course on Zoom itself. So some people may have a little bit of knowledge, some people never at all. So yes, they may get an email saying, click on this link, you'll go into a waiting room, and then the host will let you in, whatever that means. Yeah. So this is about allowing participants to learn or increase their knowledge on how to utilise and use Zoom as their virtual classroom. It's interactive, it's confidence building, and initially, of course, there'll be that question, well, if you don't know how to use Zoom, how can you get on? So what we've done is produced a fact sheet that will be readily available prior to the course itself. So learners will be able to, once they've registered in and enrolled, they'll be able to have access to the fact sheet, and they'll read through that fact sheet of the initial steps, step by step, of how to actually go into the link, or what it means to be in a waiting room, what it means as a host, and then to be allowed into the room. And then we'll go through all the etiquette that happens with online learning and an online platform, and then all the other little extra bits of how a Zoom classroom can function. Yeah.
Sounds like a great course.
It is, yeah.
Can I
think
sign
so.
up for it too?
Yeah, no problem.
I only learnt the other day how to share a screen.
Yeah,
So,
okay, yeah. So that's in it, certainly.
yeah.
How to share a screen, the chat pod function, poll function, those types of things. Because sometimes within some of our courses there will be learner activities, and some of those learner activities will be up to the creativeness of the learner, and they may want to use a slide. They may want to use some other form of document that they want to share on the screen when they present it to the other members of the class. So those sorts of aspects are really important. Also the chat function, and also, of course, there's all that etiquette that goes with online. Do you have your camera on, off? Do we mute our microphones when we're not actually speaking? What happens in the background? Is there noise? All that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great course. Sounds really great. Look forward to
enrolling
in it. Yeah, probably one of the first ones enrolling in it. Tell us about the second course. Second course is Introduction to Peer Work, and this is certainly an area. Anyone that knows me, this is an area, peer work, that's very, very close to my heart. Tell us a little bit about the Intro to Peer Work.
So again, it's an introductory level course. So it's really allowing participants of that course to have an understanding of the many different roles of a peer worker. Some of the aspects will be the history of peer work, because I always believe that history is important to have to gain that understanding of peer work. Where did it come from? Where did it start? Yeah. Also looking very closely at the diverse roles of a peer worker. And so some of these, and of course, employment opportunities if someone wanted to further their career, such as going and doing the Certificate 4 in peer support work. So some employment opportunities could be within local health districts, community and private services and practices, certainly community advocacy and representation. We can go then into the Lead Up program, where there's consumer coordinators and managers, researchers and academics. So it really opens it up for people to have an understanding and a really good overview of the different areas that you could potentially go to within the peer workforce. Because I really don't think, certainly in mainstream education, there's no mention of peer work. There's no defined pathway, career pathway. So if someone wanted to go into nursing, for example, there's loads of information, different levels of nursing you could go into. If someone wanted to go into horticulture, there's different levels that you can go into. When you look for peer work, very little out there.
Yeah.
Very little promotion, very little marketing.
So this is going to really help people to have an understanding, not just for those who want to become peer workers, but even those who perhaps just are a bit unsure, is this something I want to go into, to have a better understanding. So as you mentioned, the history of peer work, but then looking at the diversity of roles and then looking at potential pathways that may lead into employment.
Yes, indeed. Open up opportunities. I think it's also just for the broader public to have an understanding that there is a peer workforce. And if you hear that, what do these people do?
And we know that peer work is a fast-growing profession. We know it's It's certainly part of the Premier's priorities, the New South Wales government's priorities, but also at a federal level too. So it's really exciting to see this intro type course in peer work. Okay, tell us about the third one. This one sounds really interesting. So defining frames of mental health recovery. Tell us about that.
Yes, so this one's a little different. So this particular course is going to explore and really take a deep dive using a multi-lens approach. So looking at things from all different kinds of angles and opening up your mind. So opening up discussions about diverse cultures, differing worldviews, and as well as individual and broader societal views versus the biomedical approach around the meaning of recovery to each of us, and the language that's used. Because as we know, sometimes language, a word, can have 1,000 meanings and certainly can be interpreted in many different ways. So this course is really looking at big amounts of discussion about individuals' journeys with recovery. What does that actual word mean for them? Does it mean the same for someone else? How does the biomedical world see it? Yeah. How does the broader society see it? What are worldviews? What are different cultures? Because we live in such a diverse world. So I think it's really, as I said, taking that deep dive, looking at the mental health recovery through a multi-lens approach.
Yeah, this one really interests me because, I'm thinking about the biomedical lens. We could have a conversation about this, for a whole day, really.
Yes, yes.
Probably days. But,
along with language.
Along with language.
Yeah.
But looking at the diversity of and the different sort of ways of thinking and approaches, the biomedical lens may have reference quite frequently to recovery-oriented principles, but there's many people out there who live with mental health issues who don't even relate to that word recovery. And when we think of society's view of recovery that's informed by health and informed by potentially, I'm thinking of alcohol and other drug sectors, that recovery looks very different in those sorts of platforms.
And physical health.
And physical health.
Yeah, yes.
And then in mental health, when we think of that biomedical lens, it's so completely different to personal lenses of recovery, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And because we're all individuals, we've all had our own journey, and really, what does that word mean to you? It can be so different. And I think, again, it's that transformative education learning side of things where it's that sharing and opening up discussion and dialogue, around those areas.
So people will have an opportunity in these courses to share some of their own experiences and their own views?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. And I certainly know that happens in education spaces, but to be able to have a safe space to disclose that sort of information is really important.
Yes, and I think that's I agree, extremely important, and that's one of the focuses, as with a lot of colleges, is to provide a safe environment. And so a part of that is not only all the housekeeping rules, but it's also about checking in on people.
It was one of the questions that we didn't have down for our frequently asked questions, and we'll go to those in a moment. But, I'm thinking about levels of support for people. So because there's three diverse courses, three really great courses, but three diverse courses. And, appreciating that people are all different phases and stages in their own life's journey as well. If somebody was requiring some support in this type of an environment, in that learning environment, are there opportunities for people to be supported?
Yes, there are always opportunities. So whether it be to assist with learning, to assist with finding the best way of learning for that person, because again, we can never assume that we understand our own learning styles.
Sure.
And also as we progress through life and get older, our learning styles may change as well. So yes, there's always support there through our peer educators. We'll offer that support. If there's support required as far as the safety aspect and the comfortability, then they're able to bring a support person along with them or have them on Zoom with them. I think that's incredibly important, that people will always be able to feel safe in order to participate, because our courses really are based on engaging our participants and encouraging meaningful discussions. And again, that platform of shared learning. So the facilitator or educator is not the hierarchical person in the room. It's a journey that we hold hands together, and we're sharing and gaining knowledge from each other.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I wonder if we could just turn our attention for a moment to some frequently asked questions. And can I just thank those that are sending in questions to us? And I'm going to encourage you to keep sending in your questions, because I'm seeing some of them are quite diverse here. So thank you to everyone that's sending through. Also, we've got some good days as well. So good day from Grafton, New South Wales. We've got a couple of other people who have sent in and said good day from other spaces. It's lovely to see people from rural and remote areas. Seems like we have a big pool of people that are joining us today from rural and remote areas. So thank you. It's great to see you on board. So we have a question here about mindfulness. Will mindfulness be a course that we'll be introducing at some point?
Yes, there will be. We do have a course that we will open up in the following month, and a part of that course is looking at mindfulness.
Fantastic. That's great. Okay. So we'll just watch this space as
for April.
Courses.
Okay. Yes, looking for April.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, that's really great to hear. Okay, we've got someone who's contacting us from Merimbula. So hello to you. So are there going to be, a course is going to be only in Sydney via Zoom, Microsoft Teams. And I can see another question there as well, that will we be doing face-to-face training as well?
Hopefully, in the near future. So we've just got to be mindful of COVID and the ups and downs, of course, with that at the moment, and the restrictions, of course, that go with it. But yes, preferably face-to-face learning and discussions is a much better space. But until we're ensured with safety, and that we can allow a certain number of participants to be in a room safely, then it will be online initially.
Okay.
But there will be lots of support in order to learn online.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. I can see that there's a couple of questions here that we're going to be answering in our frequently asked questions. So what I might do is actually just jump to some of those questions, and then we can come back to
any others?
Some of the questions of our audience and people who are joining us. So, okay, I've got a couple of questions here, and they're fairly basic, but they're really important questions. So, are there any prerequisites to enrol in any of the courses?
So, no, not for the Speak Up program. And in saying prerequisites, that just means what skills or qualifications or knowledge do I need to have prior to doing a certain course? So certainly in the broader education world, there are certain prerequisites that you must do before you can move on to a high level qualification. So certainly for our Speak Up programs, no, not at all, nothing. For the Peer Up and Lead Up, they will have some requirements. So they could be that they would need to do some introductory courses that may be in the Speak Up program prior to completing or enrolling in a higher level course. And again, with any prerequisites, we always look at what skills, what other qualifications, what employment history do you have have, and you may not necessarily, if you've got all those life skills that we look at along with educational skills, then no, you don't need to do that introductory course because you're already doing it, yeah? So it's very much on an individual basis we'll assess that.
Okay.
There's no hard and fast rules.
Okay. But the Speak Up program, so our first stream of the Speak Up program
No,
is
open
to
to
the
every-
whole community.
Yes.
There's no prerequisites.
Not at all.
I
No.
would anticipate then also with the second stream that's quite specifically for people who are currently peer workers.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. Are there any cost to the courses?
Initially, no. So we're starting off by offering courses for free to begin with. But again, in time, we'll readjust that accordingly.
Okay.
But for our members, always courses will be free.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. And I guess the idea when we're talking about if there are costs that are associated, it's more so, for example, I would anticipate that some of the courses like the peer supervision training post our 10 trainees, that if we do off that again, that's where there would be a fee for service.
Yes.
But the general courses which are in that first stream of
Speak Up.
Speak Up, they will absolutely be free.
Yes. Again, and that's allowing inclusivity.
Yeah.
We don't want to not allow people to join our courses because they can't afford it. I mean, and that's just the usual catchphrase is that you often want to educate yourself, but the affordability of it is the gap is becoming wider. Yeah.
So we really want to be inclusive in that.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
All right. When do the courses commence?
So registrations for courses are open today, so check out our new webpage. And our courses will commence on the week of the 15th of March.
Awesome. So we're only a few weeks away.
Yeah. So watch this space.
Yep.
So on the webpage, which is live today as well, you will see a registration area. It's very few questions, and one of our team will get back to you with the processes of enrolling and your choice of course. We'll also have up a calendar of the courses on offer, certainly for the last half of March, and then moving into April.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. And what types of courses are there? We've covered that. So
We
we're going
have.
over 3 courses. Which are very much introduction type courses, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Start our journey. Okay.
Yeah, and just want to ensure that we reach out to all our consumers within New South Wales, including carers and family members. And yes, introductory level to workplace development to leadership improvement.
Wonderful. Thank you. How long do the courses go for?
So some of our courses are short. They're only 2 hours to 3 hours. Some may be a day long, and some will be a series that may span over a week or weeks, depending on which stream. Yeah.
And generally, will they be sort of length of time?
2 to 3 hours again, yeah. And there'll be breaks incorporated because, particularly for online, because really research shows that about 45 minutes is about the amount of attention that we can comfortably sit with when we're looking at a screen and discussing and learning new ideas. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd incorporate breaks. Yeah. So even though sometimes when you look at it, it may say it's 3 or 3.5 hours, it really may, incorporating breaks, it really may only be 2.5 hours.
Okay, awesome. I think we've covered the next one, which is will the courses be face-to-face or online?
Yeah, so again, to commence with, we're online with support to achieve maximum benefit and ease of navigating that online learning world that we find ourselves more and more in. Our aim is of course, to have face-to-face courses as well as online. So again, it's being inclusive as much as some people prefer to learn online. They prefer that environment, they're very self-motivated, and they just prefer that space. Whereas others learn better in face-to-face, and having that human connection. So I'm really looking to commence face-to-face as soon as possible.
When we do commence face-to-face, will there be still be online courses for those that that do prefer online?
Yes, there will be. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, this is an important one. Will I receive a certificate of completion?
Yes, indeed. I think it's always something nice that when you complete a course or a workshop that you attend, or even a seminar, it's always really nice to get acknowledgement of that. Whether you're able to use that within your workplace and your resume for future planning, or it's just a nice achievement for you to have. So yes, we're going to have certificates of achievement and completion.
Awesome. Thank you. How can I become involved in the Being Leadership Academy?
Yeah, it is a good one. So in many ways you can become involved. So you can enroll in a course, of course. Of course. Join our co-design committee. So there's an expression of interest already out. It was posted in our Mad Monday memo, the latest edition, so please head there if you're interested in joining the Leadership Academy's co-design committee. So that's a really good way to get involved. And there also will be very soon, watch this space, a call out for peer educators. So there will be an expression of interest. So again, it'll be posted within the Mad Monday memo and also on our website.
Great. So the expression of interest for the co-design committee, though, is already out.
That's already out there,
and
yes.
People can find it on our website as well.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And how can I enrol? Can we maybe just quickly flick to the registration page? This is the registration page on our website.
Okay, it's actually, I just need to say that's like our registration page on the website has actually been changed. So all that busyness in the background has now gone.
Oh, that's
yes.
lovely.
So therefore it becomes a little more reader friendly, and the white writing actually stands out. So as you can see, it's quite simple. We just want your details and the suburb, region or town of where you are, and really to tick that bottom box so that we can get in contact with you and offer you support, offer you some more information about our courses and about how we can support you in your learning environment.
That's really great. That looks really simple.
It does, yeah.
It's really simple registration.
Make it as simple as possible. Yeah, indeed. And as I said, all that business in the background has gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's great to hear.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so registration's really simple for people to access, and so that the process from there is once someone registers, does that mean that someone from the Leadership Academy will be in contact?
Yeah, one of the team will be in contact with you to then assist you through the rest of the process, which will be an enrolment form, but of course to talk to you about what kind of courses you're interested in, and if we have them already written and ready for delivery, or some ideas around what we can future develop. Yeah, always open for ideas.
We'd love to hear ideas, obviously, and particularly if there's a course that that you can see that would fit into the Leadership Academy, or a course that doesn't exist out there that you'd really like to see implemented, please feel free to reach out to us and let us know. I'm actually going to, that's the end of our frequently asked questions. I wonder if we could just very quickly go to some questions from those that are joining us. And so one of the questions that has come up, my apologies, I'm having a slight technical issue here at the moment.
Me too.
That's good to see.
Playing with slides.
Just going to work this out. Okay, beautiful. I'm back again. Okay. So one of the questions that that came up was the certificate for in peer work has been very hard to access as someone without an existing role as a peer worker. Do you have any understanding of why that is? We're not offering the Cert 4 in mental health peer work through the Leadership Academy. As I mentioned beforehand, the Mental Health Coordinating Council, which is a friend of Being, and also a number of TAFEs are offering that qualification. I probably suggest perhaps getting in contact with either of them to seek a little bit more information. My understanding, though, is that when the qualification was initially rolled out, that it was almost a bit like an apprenticeship. So you there are placement hours that you have to do, and I think that was part of the reason of why you needed to actually be an existing peer worker or be in a role such as a peer worker. I know it's something that we're certainly looking at, and something I've spoken to Jeanette about is potential of opening up traineeships. So how can we support people to undertake the Cert 4 in mental health peer work, potentially with the Mental Health Coordinating Council or an external organisation, but for them to be able to do their placement within being. So I'd probably suggest perhaps if you've had some difficulties, just keep an eye on this space, because it's something I'm incredibly passionate about. I know Jeanette's really passionate about it as well. And we're hearing loud and clear that people are having some level of difficulty in seeking placements as well. But yeah, thank you for raising that. It's greatly appreciated. Will the online courses be run on specific dates, or will a person be able to access a course at any time that's suitable to them? I think at this stage, Jen, do you want to answer that one?
Initially, they will be at set times, but we are looking to build our own learning platform. So eventually our online learning won't be via Zoom. It'll be by our own learning platform, and where that then will allow us to have courses up there for people to access at a time that suits them.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jeanette. The next question is the Introductory to Peer Work course delivered via Zoom?
Yes, it is at this point. But again, I'll be investigating towards the end of this month, looking at what's happening with COVID and restrictions, but certainly looking to be able to present that face-to-face.
Yeah, great. I can see that there's also a number of peer workers on here that are saying hello. So hi to you all. It's great to
thanks for joining
us.
Yeah.
And also a couple of local health districts. So we've got a good A. So I'll shout out to Western Sydney Local Health District, Cumberland and Westmead. So hi to you joining us from there. Another question is, how can health researchers get involved in the academic learning initiative? So I think that means the Leadership Academy. How can health researchers get involved? We have a lot of, I'm happy to answer that question if that's okay.
Yes, please do.
So we actually have consumer researchers that work with us as a consumer-led organisation. As I mentioned, all of our staff live with mental health issues, and we'll shortly be advertising for some additional positions for consumer researchers. We do work collaboratively with a number of universities, and we have a program at the moment where we're collaborating with the University of New South Wales on a particular program. How can health researchers broadly get involved? Reach out to us. Just send us an email and let us know. Let's start a conversation. We're happy to do that. And I'm sure Jeanette would be happy to have a conversation about that. When you eventually go face-to-face, will you offer the capacity to Zoom? Yes, so I think we've covered that one.
Yes, we will.
And can I just very quickly give a shout out to our co-design committee as well. We have an overarching co-design committee at Being that really help us to drive and inform the work we're doing, and we meet once a month with the co-design committee. So thank you, Susan. I can see your message here. How did we come up with the name Leadership Academy? So I can see your further one. Happy to discuss further. Happy to discuss that. The name Leadership Academy actually came up from our members and people that we consulted with. We looked at Leadership Academy. We looked at Learning Academy. We looked at a number of different capacities. But as a consumer-led organisation, when we undertook our consultations, people felt that a key component of our organisation is in leading and influencing change. And if that's what we stand for and that's what we do, that we are looking at ultimately in how do we develop consumer leaders. And it's not just sort of saying, okay, we take a select few of people and we look at them being leaders, because I really believe that everyone is a leader in their own right. And really what we're doing is we're facilitating greater learning in that capacity. But lovely to have our co-design committee members with us. So thank you. This is a good one. What are the maximum numbers for each course? So we didn't discuss that beforehand. What sort of numbers are we looking at, Jeanette?
So for online initially, incorporating safety and comfortability, we're going to maximise our Zoom classes to 6. Mm-hmm. So we will be offering those same courses repeatedly to allow it to be open to a bigger populace, because 6, it's quite a small class, but it's also enough in order to engage in meaningful discussions and to have a safe learning environment. Face-to-face, maximum 10 to 12 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. That's a really important one, because it is about creating that safe space, isn't it? We want people to feel comfortable enough to share their own journeys and their own experiences, and
to have that time, have enough time. So in mainstream education, there's always that rush. Yeah, so you're very time constrained. And although, yes, when we're doing face-to-face, there still is that certain amount of time constraint. But with great big classes, the time constraint is much heavier. So with smaller classes, it's much more less time constrained and allowing that space for people to engage in discussions.
That's awesome. Thank you. So I do want to just a big shout out also to those that are joining us from other states. So we have Adelaide, Queensland, Western Australia, Victoria. We've nearly covered off every state. ACT. So thank you so much for joining us as well. I can see here also some comments from the New South Wales Mental Health Commission. Thank you so much for joining us, and of course supporting our programs as well. And thanks for wishing us luck with the first round of courses. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Someone's asked, will this webinar be available for folks to watch afterwards? Yes, it will be. So just keep abreast to our Mad Monday memo, which is our online newsletter. And if you're not subscribed to it, just pop on to www.being.org.au and there'll be an opportunity for you to subscribe to our newsletter. But we'll also have updates. So you'll be able to see on the right-hand side of our website that we have constant updates there as well. So we will have an update of when the actual recording becomes available. Can a link be provided to registered participants? I think that might be in relation to this particular webinar. I believe that probably will be something that will happen.
Yes, I can talk to our
participants. We'll send the link out to registered participants.
Definitely.
Would be able to share this greater. Wonderful. And there was also and apologies if I don't get a chance to cover everyone's question here. Please feel free, if there are any other questions that you do have, to reach out to us. And we're going to put a slide up in a moment that has some further information. I just want to make sure that I can get to as many as I can probably get to. And just realised I forgot to press the answered button that would help me to not have to sift through all of the questions, because we've got quite a few coming through.
Perhaps we need an iPad course.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's absolutely. Yeah, this is a little Samsung, maybe a Samsung. Okay, well, sorry, we've covered that. My apologies. And I think we've covered that one as well, examples of course content. So someone says, I'd love to hear some examples of course content, subject areas. I'd love some details. Absolutely. We'll have some further details up on our website. So feel free to visit our website and you'll find some further information there. And I think that's probably might be all we might be able to get to at this stage, just being mindful of our time together. So could we just pop up the slide with it's the next one. So if you are looking for any further information, feel free to email us at BLA. That's our kind of signature name, Being Leadership Academy.
Yep.
We, of course, always work with acronyms, don't we? Try and avoid them, but somehow they creep into our
Yes.
lives. So BLA, Being Leadership Academy, at being.org.au, and one of our staff will be able to connect with you fairly quickly. Just in wrapping up, I really would like to, first of all, thank Minister Ward for his kind words, but also his support, and acknowledge that he wasn't able to join us. But thank you so much for sending us a video. We really do appreciate it. I really do want to thank our audience as well, and for your time and for coming and joining us. We were a little bit, I guess to some degree, overwhelmed by the number of people that actually registered, and it was so heartening to see that so many people were interested in not only what we're doing at Being, but interested in such an important program such as the Being Leadership Academy. We really want to hear from you, so please get in contact with us. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your opinions, and particularly if you have any suggestions around courses. Please don't forget that we have an expression of interest open at the moment for the co-design committee. That can be found on our website as well.
Yes.
And don't forget to keep your eye out for an expression of interest coming out in regards to the peer educators role,
yes,
which will be really, really exciting.
Yes.
I really do want to thank as well all of our members, those that have been part of our consultations, and those that have really been the driving force behind the Being Leadership Academy. You know, we kind of have a slogan that that your voice matters, and we really want to hear from you. And I think this particular program is a true testament that we've heard what you've had to say. We've understood that you want consumer-led, consumer-driven programs such as the Leadership Academy, and you want opportunities to learn and to grow and to work out and explore how you can participate and how you can be involved within our sector. So this particular program wouldn't exist without your voice and your advocacy, and I'd really like to thank all the people who have participated, either in the face-to-face consultations, the surveys that we undertook, or any other platform that you've provided us with information. Of course, a big thanks to Jeanette. This has been it's been a mammoth task to get the Being Leadership Academy up and running, as you can appreciate. It's almost like having a mini college, isn't it?
It is.
So, you know, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I'd really like to thank the staff in the Leadership Academy, but also our wonderful staff that have been involved in the Leadership Academy prior to its commencement, and that have been involved in the background work. So thank you to our staff. So this is really now our point of a call to action for people to just get involved.
Yes, indeed.
To be involved, and to come along to the courses, register for the courses, come along to the courses, and help us to shape and inform what the next steps in the future of the Being Leadership Academy will look like. We'll pop up a slide now, which is our last slide, and we'll leave you with that. Thank you so much. Take a look at our website, www.being.org.au. Thank you to everyone. Travel safely, and we look forward to connecting with you soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Goodbye.